Scientists are terrified by an ancient Egyptian discovery. In terms of science, artifacts, and architecture, the Egyptians were innovators. They built incredible constructions that led to speculation that they had interacted with extraterrestrial species. Was there communication between Egyptians and aliens, or is there another explanation? Scientists have learned a lot about ancient Egypt, which has led them to wonder how Egyptians managed to accomplish so much in the absence of modern knowledge of technology. There are claims that the builders of the great temples and other wonders of ancient Egypt received assistance from extraterrestrial life. In this video, we examine the ancient Egyptian discoveries that terrify scientists and lead them to suspect the Egyptians may have interacted with extraterrestrial life. Let's look at Egypt's old, anemic finds and see where Egyptians have interacted with extraterrestrial life. The Benben stone, so named after the mound, was sacred in the temple of Ra in Heliopolis. It was where the sun's first rays were to be seen. It is thought to have served as the inspiration for the capstone of the Great Pyramids, and it is also thought to have inspired later obelisks. These might have been gilded to reflect light in ancient Egypt. Many Benben stones have been carved with images and inscriptions, and there are many of them in museums all around the world. The Benben stone, however, is very important in Greek mythology. The significance of the Benben stone in Greek mythology. It is said that this mystical stone was once held in a shrine on the property of the Heliopolis temple to the god Adam. Ancient Egyptian mythology uses a variety of various metaphors to depict the creation of the world. One of them is based on the god Adam and was born in the city of Heliopolis. Adam created the cosmos. This interpretation of the Genesis myth holds that the original condition was one of darkness and anarchy. Adam stood on the ancient hill known as the Benben stone as it emerged from the forbearing waters. It has been suggested that the name is connected to the Egyptian hieroglyph for the rise, Weben, which refers to the ascent of the Benben stone from the primordial seas. How Benben stone relates to the extraterrestrial life is still an open topic. The perspective of the Egyptian astronaut reveals how the Benben stone is connected to extraterrestrial life. How the Benben stone is related to extraterrestrial life. According to legend, the Benben stone began as a shape that fell from the sky, accompanied by a lot of smoke and fire. Then a door opened and people emerged. This is yet another story that demonstrates the origins of mankind. Ancient astronauts argue that the Benben stone is based on a true event that happened thousands of years before the creation of the Great Pyramids, despite Egyptologists' claims that it is a religious allegory. Egyptologists agree that a shape of this type fell from the sky in a huge fireball and landed safely. The Benben stone burst when the first creator gods appeared. Ancient astronauts, however, have a different perspective on this. The Benben stone from the astronauts' perspective. According to the astronauts, because of their highly advanced worldview at the time, the Egyptians and many other ancient nations confused these actual space visitors for supernatural or spiritual beings. This is closely related to the idea of inappropriate technology use in a developed culture, and a society with less advanced technology contacts the more advanced society and begins to worship it. This proves that the ancient Egyptians were aware of extraterrestrial life, but owing to their technical inspiration, they mistakenly believed them to be gods. Furthermore, it is assessed that the Benben stone could be interpreted as the home of the gods, which could be proof of extraterrestrial influence. All of them are merely conjectures about astronauts and people from ancient Egypt. What theory do you subscribe to? Do you believe that aliens have been to Egypt? The proof is the Benben stone. The Scarab in Egypt. Scarabs were frequently employed as amulets and imprint seals in ancient Egypt. Thanks to their inscriptions and typology, they are widely distributed today and provide archaeologists and historians with important information about the ancient world. They also represent a significant amount of prehistoric art. Only in 2013, biologists discovered that the scarab is the only insect on Earth that can travel by following the course of the Milky Way galaxy. But 5,000 years ago, they were probably not aware of the scarab's unique connection to the stars. The ancient Egyptians worshipped the scarab as a sacred symbol signifying a connection to the gods. Isn't it amazing how Egyptian culture treated an insignificant bug with such careful consideration? Why, in your opinion, did they focus so much attention on this tiny bug? Why ancient Egyptians gave great importance to the scarab? The scarab is a prevalent motif that may be observed regularly in both Egyptian temple construction and hieroglyphics. The sacred lake where the pharaohs were crowned at the Karnak temple is guarded by a massive scarab beetle keeping guard in the shape of the Egyptian god Khepri, When the ancient Egyptians viewed the sun crossing the sky, they also saw insects flinging dung balls over the desert sand. As a result, the Egyptians thought that the sun's motion was controlled by a deity, Capri, who was represented by a huge scarecrow beetle. These factors led them to pay close attention to the Scarab. Egyptians believed that the sun was what is known as the Eye of Ra, which was Ra's chariot or his flying machine, and it was pushed by the god Capri, who had a scarab for a head. The scarabs filled in the pilot Capri, but why were Egyptians in antiquity thought of as pilots? This could lead us to the idea that ancient Egypt was connected to extraterrestrial life.